Hey Lawn Care Nation, in this video we're going to talk about how often you should mow your customer lawns in your lawn care business. Coming up. So hey Lawn Care Nation, I recently got a question on Instagram from a follower who states, hey, I'm almost 15 and I'm looking to get into the lawn mowing business. I was wondering how often I should mow customer lawns, weekly or once every 2 weeks. So before I get into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you're notified right away when I make videos like this that have the potential to make your business grow. So first and foremost, I would say that it all depends on your area and how quickly the lawns grow. But with that being said, your best option is going to be a weekly cut. Obviously, this is going to be easier for you to provide, meaning that on a weekly basis, you've got a set schedule. You can schedule the same houses on the same days. You get into a routine and a rhythm of being able to do particular neighborhoods and knowing exactly what time of day you're going to arrive in those particular neighborhoods. A weekly cut is also going to be easier to provide because you'll be able to keep up with the lawn's growth during those really heavy times of year, like in the spring or in the fall when the leaves are falling. So typically a weekly cut is going to be the best service for you to provide. Not only does it leave your client's properties looking the most pristine, but it's also the most profitable for you, especially when you're trying to build a business and you may have equipment to pay off or trucks and insurance and licenses and all of that sort of stuff. So a weekly cut is what you want to aim for. So keep watching till the end of this video and I'll explain how I converted all of my clients to a weekly cut. So next, let's talk about the bi-weekly or every 2-week cut. So basically, in my experience in my lawn care business over 14 years, I found that if a client is requesting a 2-week cut, it's basically a client that doesn't really care about their lawn. They're just looking at trying to get the cheapest price for their lawn care. Even a 10-day cut client is more concerned about the look than the price of their lawn because they'd be looking at 3 cuts a month versus a 2-week or 2-time-a-month cut for their lawn. So like I said, basically these types of clients typically don't really care about their lawn and price is the main motivating factor. And that's why for me that I found over the past 14 years that it just doesn't work. In the springtime, customers that want a bi-weekly cut, you know, in the first few years when I was offering this service, I would show up to a lawn and it would be a foot tall each and every week. And, you know, customers would want it bagged, or if it wasn't bagged and you're side discharging, then you're double and triple cutting. You've got so much more blowing to do. The edges all need to be all redone each and every week. All of the trimming. It just takes so much longer to provide that type of service. So 2-week cuts I would typically try to stay away from, but when you're first starting to build your lawn care business, I would say that you know, you're probably going to pick up a bunch of these. And even though it's less cuts per month than a 10-day cut, it still works better on your schedule than a 10-day cut. So next, let's talk about that 10-day cut. So first I would say don't even bother with 10-day cuts. Don't even offer this service. The reason is because it completely messes with your schedule. If you're going to a certain street and you're going to do a weekly cut and even bi-weekly cuts, those two will work together because they always fall on the exact same day. Whether you're cutting once each week or once every 2 weeks, you can still do a cut every Monday or every second Monday. But a 10-day cut is always going to fall on a different day. So in lawn care, starting to build your business, route density is very important. Building clients on specific streets, getting as many as you can on a specific street, so you spend more time cutting and working and making money than driving around town just to get to one or two clients. So with that 10-day cut, what ends up happening is that you will go to a street, you'll cut your regular weekly cuts, even your bi-weekly cuts, and that first week you'll cut your 10-day cuts included, but then the next cut that comes about, you have to go back to that street on the 10th day just to service one client. Whereas with a weekly or bi-weekly cuts, if you're going to that street each and every week, you're cutting those weekly cuts. If you skip those bi-weekly cuts, it waits until that following week on the same day when you're cutting those weekly cuts again to do that bi-weekly cut on that second week, and then you skip the following week for those cuts. Those 10-day cuts are always falling on a different day of the week. And like I said, that means you end up driving back to the same street that you just serviced all of your clients for just to do one cut because it happens to be a 10-day cut. So absolutely do not offer 10-day cuts. Okay, so how did I get all of my clients on a weekly schedule? Well, like I said, first, right off the bat, I didn't offer 10-day cuts. I scrapped those right off the bat. Secondly, with those bi-weekly cuts, like I said, the main motivating factor with those were that customers would look and say, it doesn't need a cut. I could tell that these were typically customers that didn't want fertilizing, they didn't want aeration, they didn't really care about the lawn. They just wanted the lawn cut, the least amount of times possible. So I basically looked at it from my point of view, and where I said, on those spring cuts, if I wait 2 weeks, that grass is growing like crazy, and I'll show up and it'll be, a foot tall, and it takes me forever to cut. And here where I live, it rains a lot, and it can be unpredictable. It can rain for weeks on end. So if it's a nice sunny day and I skip somebody's lawn because it's on a bi-weekly cut and this is the week that it's not supposed to be cut, and then the following week I show up and I have to cut it now, it's been 2 weeks, but now it's pouring rain that day and it's forecast to rain the rest of the week, it just doesn't work out for me. So basically what I started to do was offer a weekly as needed service, and this is the only service that I offer. So basically what I tell customers is that in the springtime, when it's raining a lot, when the grass is growing like crazy, everybody gets a weekly cut. There's no exceptions. Now in the summer months, in July and August, when it gets really, really hot, and typically there's a drought here and we get no rain, all those lawns that aren't fertilized or aerated or don't have any sort of applications done to them, they all go really brown, really dry and crispy, and basically it's just those weeds, the dandelions and stuff that grow quite quickly each and every week on those lawns, but the lawn itself typically stays pretty short. So basically what I say is that in the summer months, your lawn's growth dictates if it's a weekly cut or a bi-weekly cut. If I'm fertilizing your lawn and you've got an irrigation system, you're turning on the sprinklers, then your cut will continue to be a weekly cut throughout the summer. If your lawn isn't fertilized, you're not watering it, and it's starting to slow down, it's starting to dry out, then typically in July and August, your lawn will go to a bi-weekly cut, or every 2 weeks, on the same day as of the schedule that it was on a weekly cut, but it just goes to every 2 weeks. Then in September, when the rain starts to fall again and the temperatures start to cool down and the grass naturally starts to grow, and this coincides with my next application of fertilizer, then those lawns will go back to getting a weekly cut. So everybody's back on a weekly cut at that point to finish off the season. Now, once I started explaining it this way to my clients, there's no denying it for them. It's, a completely fair system for everyone involved. It's fair for me because in the spring when it's really heavy, or in the fall when the leaves are falling, then I'm there on a weekly basis. There's no denying that the lawns need cutting on a weekly basis during those times. Now, in the summer months, typically is when people will complain the most about a weekly cut, saying it doesn't need it in the summertime. and that my last service was always trying to cut the lawn every week in the summer. When I explained that, it depends on their lawn, that, it's weekly for everybody in the spring and fall, but in the summer, it's their lawn that dictates when it goes to a 2-week cut. It's completely fair to them. There's nothing that they can say that denies that fact. And I have converted all of my clients to that. And now it's the only service that I offer in my lawn care business. So that's it for this one, guys. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. Leave a comment down below and let me know what sort of frequencies for mowing service you offer in your lawn care business. So if you like this type of how to start a lawn care business type video, I'll leave another one for you to watch up here in this corner, or I'll leave one of my other videos for you to watch up here in this corner. So that's it for this one, guys. Here's to wishing you guys all overwhelming success and freedom in your lawn care business. Bye for now.